What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at all of the Red Digimon from Ultimate Power. I say all the Red Digimon, I mean all the Red Digimon we've not yet looked at. There are, by my calculations, 4 Red Digimon that we've not talked about in any videos yet. I consider that to be kind of rude of me. So let's get rolling, shall we? And yes, if you haven't guessed, the Digimon videos on this channel will be coming thick and fast for the next few days, for fairly obvious reasons. So starting off then with Biyomon, we've seen Biyomon before, but I like this one better than most. Free cost to play normally is standard for a level 3, 0 cost to evolve is standard, 2000 power is on the slightly lower end, but it's got a skill whereby when it is destroyed, you gain a memory. Oh. Yeah, no, that seems pretty good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That seems pretty good to me. Now, the translation we have, and shout out to digimoncard.dev for collating them all together really nicely. Those guys are awesome. Check them out. I'll pop a link in the description. It is when destroyed. On your turn, you get +1 memory. Although I should say shout out to the Discord group who did do the translations as they tend to do. That means that it gets destroyed, but you don't get the memory now. It essentially gets paid to you on your turn. Either way, and I've said this many times before, we're going to be sometimes playing this normally as a free cost, occasionally evolving for 0. Most of the time, this is going to be the one that you play down as a free cost, because you can only really evolve a level 2 every other turn. And then when it gets destroyed, you're going to gain a memory. I don't think it's quite as immediately impactful as the Garudamon from New Evolution, that just draws a card when you play it. But I do think it's a very similar thing. Of course, we did see Growlmon in New Evolution that had this as an inheritable skill, which is arguably better. Not so good in the early game, but it means you get extra memory when your big bad Digimon goes down. Either way, I am quite a fan of this one, and I do think it's going to be extremely useful in red decks moving forward. Memory is your resource. Gaining extra memory seems like it's just going to be a good thing. Maybe that's just me. Growlmon comes in as a level 4. 5 cost to play normally is on the higher end for level 4, but not horrendous. 2 cost to evolve is what we expect. 4000 power is again on the lower end for a level 4, but is far from terrible. But as always, it is a skill we're largely relying on here, and it's got an inheritable skill. When you attack, you destroy one of your opponent's Digimon with 2000 power or less. And I don't know how I feel about this. Because on the one hand, right, being able to take out a Digimon every time you attack is clearly an awesome thing. Being able to take out a Digimon while attacking is great. But I'd rather have the yellow thing of when you attack, you get to lower one of your opponent's Digimon by 2000 power. That would be the kind of thing I would generally prefer here. And the reason is that if I was lowering power by 2000, I could, take an 11,000 down to a 9,000 and then take it out with an 11,000. What I'm doing here is basically saying, look, if you've got a 2000 power Digimon, oh my lordy, it's going down, this is going to be hilarious. But if you don't, then this does nothing. This does nothing against a Digimon with more than 2000 power, and that's what makes me a little bit nervous here. I mean, we talked about Garudamon a moment ago. That's got 1000 power. That sees a lot of play. Clearly, that is going to be a really nice use for this. And the Biyomon we saw, again, similarly 2000 power. That's going to be a really nice use for this. But 2000 power is on the lower end of level 3s. So what I'm saying here is, yes, this will sometimes get you an extra KO, an extra deletion if you will. And yes, getting an extra KO/deletion is clearly a good thing. But there are going to be many, many times you attack with this, and there isn't a 2000 power Digimon on the field. I mean, even to the point your opponent can play around this a little bit, because if they've got a 2000 power Digimon, they can just wait until they can evolve it, play down the 2000 and immediately evolve it, so you can't take it out with whatever you've evolved from Growlmon. And maybe that slows down your opponent too much and they won't end up doing it, but I get nervous when there is an option along those lines, shall we say. Still like Growlmon, but I do think the usefulness of it is going to be, let's say, severely tempered by the fact that it's not always actually going to do anything. Garudamon, on the other hand, I'm kind of all in favour. Now, it is a level 5 Digimon. We've got a 6 cost to play normally, which is about right for a level 5, slightly on the lower end. A 3 cost to evolve, which is standard for a level 5. 7,000 power, which is on the lower end for a level 5. So we've got a kind of cheap, kind of weak level 5. But when you attack either the player or security, draw 1. Oh. Yeah, that's awesome. I've made this point many times before, but it really does bear repeating. The Digimon TCG is not a game with a huge amount of draw power. Drawing is generally not something we're doing a huge amount of. What that means is that anytime you can get extra draw, it's going to be a huge advantage. I've already mentioned Gabumon. Gabumon's not phenomenal draw power. There are a lot of TCGs where people would look at Gabumon and go, oh, how sweet, you're drawing a card. But in the Digimon TCG, it's good. The thing is, that's a 3 cost Digimon you just play down and get a card. This is a significantly more expensive Digimon that you have to attack with. Remember that when you play a card, you have summoning sickness, so you cannot attack with it immediately. And that is a little bit of a problem. Remember that it may well end up getting taken down when you attack with it, so it might be a one-shot deal, so you literally just draw a card. And look, if you're attacking a security, it'll be drawing a card while taking out your opponent's security, and that might be enough. Like drawing 1 card while getting rid of a security card, for the memory you're paying, you might go, you know what? I'm alright with this. This was a nice trade-off. But my point here is that it's not some phenomenal draw power. Now, Tapemon, that we've mentioned a few times in these videos, the purple card from Ultimate Power, that is a 3 cost that draws a card when destroyed. The investment in that is significantly lower. And honestly, most of the time, you're going to attack the security, get destroyed, but still have a card to show for it. I much prefer a card like Tapemon here than this dude. It's not that I don't like Garudamon. I like Garudamon. We've seen a few of these cards by now. This dude's popped up a couple of times, and I like him. But I don't love it as draw power, which means we're just left with a slightly weaker, slightly cheaper card. And look, Red does not have a huge amount of draw power. So it may well be that it's worth it purely on the basis that it's a red card. And actually, when you're struggling for draw power, that'll do. But what I'm saying here is, I don't think it's phenomenal draw power. I think it's one of those, you know what, we're a red deck, it'll do. I'm not saying it won't see play. I'm sure there's a bunch of decks in which it will see play. Card advantage is great, and that is irrespective of card game. But let's just say I have rather strong reservations about this one. And then we get to level 6, and we've got Hououmon. Now, I like Hououmon. This is interesting to me, because, of course, right back in the starter decks, we did get a vanilla Hououmon, a level 6, and that's the only one we've seen so far. So now coming back in the second expansion, I'm kind of loving it, but what does it do? Well, 11 cost to play normally, 3 cost to evolve, 11,000 power. These are the absolute standard average. They are just the normal stats. That is exactly what we would expect to see from a level 3. Right cost, right power. Does it do anything special? Yeah, it gives you a memory when you attack. And I've already talked about this. Gaining extra memory is phenomenal. The thing to remember about this game is that memory is the only real resource, other than obviously the cards in your hand. So it's not like in Final Fantasy where you can discard cards from your hand or use backups. It is purely based on the amount of memory that's on the gauge. So gaining extra memory is good. And I've already shown you a Biyomon here, which gives you a memory when destroyed. Now I'm showing you a Hououmon that gives you a memory when you attack, and maybe we can start building up into a Digimon deck here that is really giving you a lot of extra memory. Honestly, I like Hououmon here, and I like it a lot. But the problem I find here is, I ask myself the question, am I going to play this over other red level 6s? And I don't know if the answer to that is yes. I mean, there's one other red level 6 in the set, and it is Garudamon that is admittedly one more to play normally and one more to evolve. But when you evolve, you destroy a 6,000 power Digimon, and for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash, you get an extra security attack. And that is a really strong level 6. I'm not saying it's necessarily a million times better than Hououmon, but I am saying that Hououmon here does have a lot of competition in terms of being a really good level 6. It's certainly a deck build that I'm going to be trying out, because getting extra memory is a good thing, but as I've said, I do have my reservations here. You have been warned. But now it's over to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. I would like to know which of these cards you're excited about. I'd like to know which ones you like, and I'd like to know which ones you're underwhelmed by. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.